Hey everybody, Ed Baker here. Welcome to this presentation on how robots read, listen, see, and watch. If you're a creator or a consumer online right now, you need to understand how the robots process your content and see your content in order to be successful. So in this presentation, the Indoctrination, I'm going to show you how robots read, listen, see, and watch. So hang with me. All right, here we go. The Indoctrination. This is how the world is working right now. We're going to cover how robots read, how robots listen, how robots see, and how robots watch. This way, you can get better at your digital marketing, whether it's marketing, advertising, promoting, for yourself or your brand. Today is the day that we're going to unlock all of the secrets. So the first thing you need to understand is that big tech must understand you before it can control you. So all of these systems in place are designed to understand you, because once they understand you, they can capitalize on you and your data. So what is that? Content. They're getting their information from content, both the content you consume and the content that you create. So what I don't think most people who are creating content understand is the sheer amount of content that exists in the world right now, especially with the introduction of AI. So just so you know this, 99%, over 99% of content online is being algorithmically ignored. It's being buried, right? So you are actually invisible. That's your problem online. You are invisible. The algorithms don't know what to do with you, and that's why no people, no customers, no leads are coming your way. How do we know this? Well, if we go back to a post on a website called How Search Works that was made by Google, you can see in November of 2016, there's over 130 trillion pages and documents that Google knows about that are online. Now, in addition to that, there were leaks, the antitrust leaks. There was a lawsuit from the US government against Google in 2023, and we found out here, and it was confirmed that there are trillions of documents and pages that they know about, and this is why it's very difficult to get something to index and rank on the web. Now, if we look at 130 trillion documents, that's just enormous. And Google's index, their active index, what they actually show users is 400 billion pages. So you have to understand it's boiling down all of this content to ultimately the 10 results on a search page for you. Just to be included into the index, being a valuable part of the ecosystem online, those are your odds. So if it feels like a struggle, if you feel like you haven't made success yet, if you feel like you're being held down, you are. The whole system has been designed to understand you and capitalize on you, not for you to understand it and to capitalize on it. But that changes today. Now, year over year, you can see that Google's been discovering more and more and more documents. This data is from 2016. It's old. At this point, 130 trillion, it's probably far greater than 130 trillion pages and documents. However, the point here is just that your odds are horrible. The world is against you. So the other thing that happens with all of this content, all of this data that's out there, a lot of it's spammy. One researcher noted that he estimates 30% of all pages on Google are spam. So Google itself says it's getting rid of 40 billion pages or 60 billion pages of results a day that are just spammy, that don't help the user when the users are searching. Now, I know I've been talking a lot about Google. Maybe you're not into Google. I don't do SEO. I don't care about search engines. I do TikTok. I do Facebook. I do whatever. It doesn't matter, because the reason I'm talking about Google in this video is Google has a map of the entire ecosystem. It's not that Facebook and TikTok couldn't survive, but if Google went out of business today, TikTok and Facebook for sure could survive. It's just easier to be found through Google because Google's the search engine. It has a map of everything that exists online. Whether they show you what exists or not is dependent upon whether it's in the index or not. So when we're talking about these robots today, the reason we're using Google is it's a waterfall. Everything else exists in the search engine's index. So that being said, it's an easy way for us to understand how all the other technologies are working as well. Now, let's get into the meat of this presentation. I'm going to show you, everybody tells you things. No. I'm going to show you how robots read first. So then we will follow that up with how robots listen, then how robots see, and then finally how robots watch. Now, I'll remind you again, big tech must first understand you before it controls you, and that's where our opportunity lies to take advantage of big tech. So, how robots read, it's using natural language processing. So, if you go out onto Google and you do a search for Google Natural Language Processing, you'll come across this cloud.google.com/natural language. Here, there's a demo where you can actually, and for the record, this is not an SEO tool, this is a text parsing tool, this is a copy tool. This is for any written word online. So you can go to the demo, completely free, and you can actually copy and paste any content. It could be from anything. It could be from a website, it could be from a book, it could be from a memo, it could be a poem, it could be a press release. It doesn't matter. It will analyze that text using this natural language processing AI. You'll click the Analyze button. You'll confirm that you're not a robot. And then what it does is it reads your body of text. It breaks that text up into entities, which are basically nouns, people, places, things, locations, all that sort of stuff. In addition, it's also going to prioritize numbers at the moment. So if you have numbers in your copy, prices, addresses, those types of things are going to be pushed to the top. That way you can easily skim them away and just pay attention to the rest of the entities it's identifying in your text. So down below here, below the numbers, you'll notice they're being categorized, right? These entities are being identified, they're being prioritized by the number on the left, and then they're being categorized by the label or the tag on the right. So things like address, consumer good, event, location. We can go down this right now and say, yeah, an Android, that's like a phone or like an operating system. It's part of electronic devices, so that's a consumer good. An event, the Consumer Electronics Show. It's the 9th most important entity in this text that was run. So, in addition to entity analysis, where it's understanding, catalog, and prioritizing everything that you're talking about, it's also tracking your sentiment analysis, which is like your tone, emotional tone, right? So, it's marking each statement you make as a positive, neutral, or negative statement. All of that is being processed line by line. So in addition to understanding your story, which is just a sequence of entities, it's also understanding the tone of your story line by line and giving a score based on that tone. In addition, it moderates your content. So it's going to put a confidence score against some of the moderation categories such as sexual things or profane things or toxic, right? It's going to identify if your video is at all a risk to anybody watching it, or your text, is at all a risk to anybody seeing it. Finally, it will categorize your text. So it's going to take a guess as to what industry, what niche you're talking about. And just seeing this allows you to see if your written copy, your message is in alignment, is in the right wheelhouse, is where you want to be online. So this natural language processing is the entire process that Google, not only just Google, but all of big tech, whether it's social media, whether it's AI, whether it's voice, everything is being crunched and boiled down into an NLP system to better understand you as a human being. Now, let's jump over to how robots listen. You've seen how it reads and breaks things down into data sets, the tone, and the categories, all of that stuff. So the next place I want you to go, and I want to be very clear about this, there's Google text-to-speech. That's not what we're looking for in this example. So don't be confused if you go out and Google search this. What you're looking for is Google speech to text. So speech to text is transcription, right? Where text to speech is like having the robot speak for you. So again, Google has all of these different AI tools out there. They've been free for years, way before the AI craze hit, and I want you to know about them. So again, look for Google speech to text. In there, there's a live demo, and guess what you can do? You can use your device, much like if you're talking to Siri or an assistant, or you're talking to ChatGPT or Claude or any of these AIs that are out there now, your voice is being transcribed into text so that they can run natural language processing on your spoken word. So here in the demo, you can either use your microphone or you can upload a file. You'll just confirm you're not a robot. You can make a recording and the robot will do the analysis on what you say. So once you've run that analysis, it will show you how it's translated. In this case, I do a file upload. And you can see here, I did testing 1, 2, 3, testing 1, 2, 3. This is an audio test to upload to Google Speech to Text API demo to see how well it does. And it actually successfully transcribes everything I say. And now in this form, this text can be run through natural language processing to further understand what it is that I want or need. So essentially, the way a robot is listening is just breaking it down. And there's different models. You can tell the robot, or the robot can identify, hey, is this a phone call, or is this audio from a video, or is this some sort of voice search or command the user's making? So in addition to understanding, what's being said and transcribing that, it's also able to identify if it's part of a phone call, a voice command, or a video. Now, same thing, like I said, happens. Your transcription, your spoken word becomes written word. And then that can get processed by natural language processing. That's how a robot listens. Now on to how a robot sees. Well, go out to Google, look up Vision AI, so cloud.google.com, and go to Vision AI. In this demo, don't go to the console, that's why I put the don't go there icon. Just click and drag any photograph, any graphic, any image that you want, and you can try the API for free. All you'll have to do is just say that you're not a robot, and you'll notice the picture that I uploaded, it can recognize all sorts of things in your images that you probably didn't know that it could see. So not only is it identifying faces, but you'll see it's actually grading those faces on their emotions. It's looking at the eyebrow structure and the lip structure and the face and the angles, and it's deciding, is this person, angry or surprised, or are they joyful? And it's rating those things. In addition to the person, it can recognize objects. So here it's 79% confident that this gentleman is wearing a shirt. It's 93% confident that this is a person. It's 66% confident it's a top, and it's 59% confident that it's clothing. In addition, it's labeling things in the image: chin, eyebrow, electronic device, gadget, and it's giving those confidence scores too. So robots and algorithms can see your images at a far greater level than you would ever imagine. Oh, look here. It even tags his haircut a crew cut. Crazy, right? Additionally, it will do color properties so that you can see the palette that the photograph or graphic is made in. And it runs safe search moderation. So it's looking if this is adult content or spoof content, or if it might be medical or violent or racy. And it's rating that image and assigning those properties to this image. Now, if it's not a person and if it's a graphic, it might not detect the faces. So the interface could look a little bit different, such as here, where it's showing you labels of things and confidence scores still. So in this case, it's showing you that it believes this is fluid, the sea, right? There's a storm, ocean, waves. Same thing, colors, and then safe search all over again. So whether it's a graphic or a photograph, doesn't matter. It will read text in images, it will read faces in images, it reads all of the things that you might not think that it does. That's how robots see. Now, how do robots watch? Well, same thing. If you go out onto Google, you can find cloud.google.com/video intelligence. It's their video AI platform. Unfortunately, this one doesn't have an easy way for you to preview or to try the AI as a demo. You actually have to build an application that then calls this over an API to successfully work. To show you further, we actually did this so that you can see all the things that are possible with video intelligence. Now, celebrity recognition is a special feature that Google offers. It's something you have to apply for and probably spend a lot of money on. I don't know. But the rest of these are all accessible through the API. Label detection, logo recognition, object tracking, person detection, face detection, safe search, shot change, speech transcription, and all sorts of other things. I'm going to show you a sample of this in the software that we've built. It's one feature of our software called Content Maxima. Now, we have this video analyzer where you will choose a video file, upload it, again, so that you can see video intelligence live in an interactive interface. So label detection is the first one up. Frame by frame, it's categorizing what it sees on the screen. So in this case, it's a couple of racing horses. It knows it's a sport. It knows these are mammals. It knows there's a jockey. And then it has a timeline below that tracks where all of those entities are showing up throughout the duration of the video. So your video has a label detection process happening. In addition to label detection, you have shot detection. This is the sequence of frames. This is your story broken up and into chunks on how the AI sees your video and experiences your video. It can establish pace and cadence and all sorts of things by looking at all of these timestamps. Object tracking. In addition to, people and faces, well, there's all sorts of objects that the machine can see. This is how the machine sees. It can label people, helmets, motorcycles, wheels, just like this image here is showing you. The next thing it can do is run person detection. So it can track and monitor people who are walking or interacting frame by frame. Again, it may not pick up everyone as it's going to focus on those in the foreground, but it can see all of the different people in your video. In addition to those people being seen, it can recognize their faces, and it can score those faces with different things, such as the confidence level of whether that person is wearing glasses or not, or whether their eyes are open or not, or mouth open, or if they're smiling. So every person that is seen in your video can get categorized, labeled, and there's confidence scores assigned to them based on what they're doing in the video. It really gives you that DNA understanding of everything going on. Next up, you can run logo detection. This will find brands in your video, and it may be intentional or it may not be intentional that somebody's logo's in your video. In this case, look at this frame. It's a biker. There's barely anything on the frame, but there's those tiny GoPro logos on the handle of the bicycle, and it's actually picking those up, whereas the rest of the frame has virtually nothing in it but rock and sand and mountains. So next up, speech transcription. This takes the audio that's in your video and it transcribes it into text. This is super useful because you can then grab that transcription and use it as written content or, again, to include in some of your images. So it knows what the audio of your video clip is and it transcribes the whole thing so that it can match the text up to the frames and follow all of the entities in your video. You can run text detection. So this is both native and overlay. So what I mean by that is, let's say there is a name on a ship and you're filming a video of the ship. That ship's name is native in the video. Now, if I was a reporter in front of this ship and I put up a title that says, hey, Ed Baker from News 9, well then that overlay is also text detection. It's just not in the native video, it's in the overlaid layers of the video editing. So text detection shows you the words in each frame in your video so that you know if a brand is visible or a message is there that you don't want to be there, something profane, or again, product placement, confirming that you have what you need in the right places, confirming your titles and captions are in the right places. Super useful to designing and editing and engineering video to do better online. Finally, there's explicit content detection. So if something looks a little risque, somebody's showing a little skin, it's a little racy, it's going to tell you that the AI is seeing something racy. Sometimes your videos go nowhere because they get flagged for an unknown reason, like there's something they're not supposed to be. Now, that is my presentation. Here's a more interactive example of some of these features from Video Intelligence live on a video. So currently I have object tracking selected. Below you'll see there's a confidence slider that can be changed on the fly, and it's identifying entities and showing on the timeline where those entities are occurring in the video. It's basically a DNA printout of everything that's going on in your video, right? So if we watch this live, it's quite exciting. Let's see it track. It's catching people, clothing, a bridge. So it is truly showing you machine vision. Oh, there's a zebra. There's a bird coming out of the horns. The wildebeest, I think. See how it tracks everyone? So again, that's just object tracking, right? We can also do label, where it's going to show you what's going on screen based on the frame. And you can see when things aren't correct. It says sports and cycling right now, but there's whales jumping out of the water. So, bicycle, mountain biking. So every frame is getting analyzed. Here's horse racing. Object tracking here, look at it. Now, let's show you shot detection. Each one of these in the software allows you to just jump frame to frame so you can see what's going on at that frame. So it's a nice interactive interface to hop around and see everything going on in your video. There's person detection, like we've showed earlier. You could see as people are walking, much like a security camera would. Face detection. We'll find people's faces. And again, rate all of those faces that are found in the video. Logo recognition, same thing. We'll find where logos are. Lenovo here, somebody's got a laptop on the ground. So here is your video transcription. Text detection, so that we can find specific words. Oh, 100 shows up at 102. Oh, it was on the motor of the boat. GoPro? Yep, it knows where that is too. So each one of these is interactive and allows you to hop around in the content and get a full-blown analysis of what is going on. So, back to presentation. So friends, listen up. If you've never seen any of this stuff before, the way that robots read, the way that they listen, the way that they see, and the way that they watch, until you've seen what I just showed you, it's really hard to be a good marketer. It's really hard to be successful online. It's really hard to get noticed and get attraction and get leads and be found and all of the things that you're trying to do. So my wish and hope to you is that you go out and you explore these tools, not just buy our software. No. That's not the point of this presentation. The point of this presentation is to show you how the machines are our gatekeepers, and they are providing everyone in the world to come to us, right? If we can't speak to the machines clearly, then we won't get recommended. So if you're not getting the results that you've always wanted to get, please go try some of these tools and understand that everything online, whether it's AI, SEO, pay-per-click, social media marketing, any type of digital anything. Assistants, chats, whatever. Everything in our universe online is powered by natural language processing. I've given you the keys to the kingdom now. It's up to you to go out and use this ammunition to take your chunk out of this world. Good luck to you.